Okay, hello YouTube. Ready to get this started. Wait, is the camera high enough? It needs to be tilted a little bit. There we go. That's better. Get all of me in the frame. Show my pretty rock, my plants, and my hair. Drop that over there. Okay, let me get on Audacity. Get my mic in place. And we'll get it started. Here we go. Welcome back to the Don't Stop Me Now podcast, where being negative can be a good thing and being positive can turn the world against you. Hello, I am your HIV positive host, and my name is Jennifer Vaughn. I almost forgot that part. Jennifer Lee Vaughn, and this is episode 111. Today is June 7th, and I think I'm over a week into my summer break from my school district, and it's really nice. It's really nice to sleep in. I get in this mode, obviously, every summer. I get 6 weeks off, and it depends when they end their summer school, because I did do summer school. Summer school was only 3 weeks. So then normally they do it for 4 weeks, and we get like 5 weeks off. This year they only did it for 3 weeks, so we get 6 weeks off. So anyways, my point is that I get very used to sleeping in, and I really love sleeping in. And then I start wondering how the heck I'm going to go back to work and do this again mid-August, starting about mid-August, basically getting up and being at my job by 7:15, 7:30 every day, and then going to my second job with no lunch in between. I have usually like a half an hour break when I'm subbing, especially like elementary school. I get like a half an hour to eat my lunch, and then I go to my next job as soon as I can get there, which is the after school program, and I do that till 6:15. So it's basically a 7:15 to 6:15 day, with not a big break at all. And I just don't know how I get back into that mindset, but I know I can, because I always do. But it is really nice to not have to think about that at the moment and just breathe and do what I want and spend my day doing really like nothing if I don't want to. Clean the house, go to the grocery store, go to Costco, go to the beach. Gone to the beach a few times already with my daughter. I just bought a tent for the beach because it's been windy there and the umbrella isn't helping enough. So I'm stoked. I just got it today and I practiced putting it together. It was not that hard. And that will be used the next time I go to the beach, so I can be protected by the wind a bit, because it does get windy at times. I haven't been on here for a while. There's a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. For those of you that are snooping on my podcast, hoping that I'll talk about all the drama on social media, I will not be talking about that. So you can turn it off now. Maybe sometime in the future I will, but not now. Okay, so summer break. I'm also going with curly hair for the summer. Maybe for a while. I don't know. I put it on my Instagram, and a lot of people like my natural curly hair. So I'm sticking with it. This is my real hair. I mean, I straighten it because it's just goes longer. I don't have to wash as often. But to be honest, it's not that hard to do it. Like after I get out of the shower, diffusing it and all that, it's pretty easy. So back to my original curly hair. When people tell me that I look younger with curly hair, then I stick with the curly hair. I'm like, okay, doing the curly hair. My kids always like it too. My daughter's always, I love your curly hair. You got to wear it curly. So if you're not on YouTube, you won't see it, but you'll see it on my Instagram. Let's see, an update on the Effidux. That's the cancer cream stuff. I used it all over on my arms. By the way, I never had that crazy breakout. I talked about that on my last podcast. It still never happened. I used it on my thighs twice a day for a month. Never had that breakout at all. And what I mean by breakout is like my skin never got like raw. It was just the spots that were already kind of pinkish turned more dark purple. That's about it. And scabbed and kind of got itchy. So now, and like I used it on the back of my calves. These are all sunspots that I'm trying to basically lighten up, because I feel like they show up too much on my skin. Right now, they look awful. Like they're dark purple. All the spots are dark purple. It looks like I've had like, I don't know, like I've had a bunch of stuff burned off on my skin basically. So, I mean, I've gone to the gym with shorts on and I'm like, oh, well, I don't care. Like I'm old. Like no one's looking at me anyways. So, I mean, I kind of am a little bit paranoid about anybody walking behind me. In fact, oh my God, I was at Costco yesterday and the hottest guy. I always go there hoping to see somebody hot, right? And I saw him in line. He was coming up to the register. He was facing my direction. I went to the self check. I was probably 7 or 8 registers down because at the self check, that's about the distance. But I like glanced as I was putting my groceries onto the weighted thing and I was scanning them. And I totally saw him looking towards me. And I mean, I think, I think sometimes I might stand out. My hair is light. I'm tall. It's curly now. And I wasn't wearing much. What did I have on? Yeah, I had like a tank top like this, I think, and pretty short shorts. But anyways, I think I caught his eye. So I finished my checkout prior to him, so I had to pass him. Wouldn't you know it, he ends up right behind me as we're walking out, and I get behind some slow older person who's taking forever, and I'm pushing my cart and I'm thinking, okay, he's got a full view of the back of me right now, and he can also look right at my calves and see that I've got these purple spots on my legs. So I'm like, I look like I don't know, like hope it doesn't look like I've got some kind of disease, even though I do. But anything that's major, yeah, we're not going to get into all that. HIV isn't major physically. The rest of it is. The rest of it's a fucking nightmare. Anyway, I didn't describe what he looked like. Totally ripped, like gorgeous body. He had on like a cutoff black shirt. I want to say it was like just kind of open, like he'd cut the sleeves off. He had longer hair on top, all shaved around the bottom. He had a little bit of a man bun, nothing crazy. Handsome, like a Viking, like a handsome guy, light brown hair. He was wearing some kind of like gray zip up with a button shorts, like cotton, kind of like that went like mid thigh, very nice, like kind of skaterish looking. And then he had I think he had like skater shoes on, or there was something better. It was boots. He had boots, like black, like Doc Martens or something. I don't know, but his outfit, his whole entire look was, and like he looked so good. Oh my gosh, he looked so good. His calves were muscular, his thighs were muscular. He was like, I don't know if he was shaved down. Like he looked, I don't know that he was a model. I don't know what the deal was, but he looked like a Viking. I mean, he was beautiful. He was a beautiful man. So of course I was like kind of happy I was walking in front of him. And then we get out to our cars and he's got a big, beautiful white truck, like hiked up truck with like some black accessories on it. It looked like a, $100,000 truck. It was really nice. And so I'm down the road because Costco, our parking lot kind of goes on in a slant. And I'm in the next aisle over and I'm in my brand new white Subaru, which I kind of think is really nice and makes me look nice. So I'm slowly putting my groceries away and like kind of like looking over in this direction, like this is gonna be it, dude. We're gonna be like leaving, and either we say something or we don't. Who knows? He could be married. Like I have no idea. But anyways, it was a very fun 5 minutes just to like have this guy. Like I felt him. I felt him around me. It was really nice. Where was I going with that? Oh God, I don't even know. Efidex. Oh yeah, seeing the back of my legs. Okay, so I'm still waiting for everything to heal and we shall see. I feel like my arm spots are better. Like it's hard to show it on here. I mean, my skin's old. It is what it is, but it's all just wear sunblock. My God, do not. And I'm tanning right now with my daughter. Like, look, I do have a tan right now. See my tan line? Why do I look so white? Anyways, I do have a tan line. My stomach just gurgled. I'm hungry. I need to eat. But anyway, yeah, wear your sunblock. You don't want to have all of these sunspots like I do. Thankfully, nothing's cancer, but it's still like annoying to have these spots. It's basically your skin is just like the sunspots. It's almost like you burned so much that your skin just gave up in that spot. It's like, whatever, I'm done. It's gonna like fade away here and turn another color. That's pretty much what happened. Okay, I have things I want to talk about in the news. I have shows I want to discuss that I've watched that I recommend, and then I'm going to talk about boys. Should I talk about one boy? Maybe I'll like intermix the boys throughout. Okay, we'll talk about the he's not a race car driver, but he was the guy that worked at the at Laguna Seca. He and I just faded. It seemed great. I had the best time with him. I really did. We had such a great time. We had so much chemistry. And then, he lives in New York, and I don't know, it just faded. I wrote something to him because I had gotten off Tinder, and I guess I didn't want him to think that I unmatched him. So I just told him one day, hey, and we hadn't said anything in a few days, and I just said, hey, I deleted my Tinder. It's like, I'm so over it, just so you know. Like, I just kind of maybe I didn't explain it well enough. Anyways, it took him 2 days to respond to that and say, yeah, sometimes it's not worth it, or something like that. Like, he was kind of agreeing with me. And then I was like, 2 days? 2 days to say something back? So I said nothing after that. And that was, I don't know, a month ago. I haven't said a word to him. He hasn't said a word to me. I know he's due here in August for another race. So we'll see if he reaches out. I would see him for sure. If he reaches out, I would definitely go see him. I had fun with him, but there's no point in like, having this back and forth. What are we going to do? Keep sending like nudie pictures to each other? Oh, you're so sexy. I wish you were here. I mean, it just gets old after a while. So I don't know. I just don't have much to say to him. So yeah, that's where that stands at the moment. Okay. I wanted to talk about Wade Wilson, who is all over my TikTok. It's probably my fault. I probably fixed the algorithm that way because I've liked too many of the videos. So Wade Wilson is a man who has just been convicted of murdering 2 women. This happened back in 2019, but he was convicted in just this month. And what has caught everybody's attention is, and I'm going to have a picture here of him. It's probably showing now. I always say that, and I know later I'll put it in, but it's going to be here. But he has a look. He's got a look about him that has driven all the girlies crazy. So we know he killed 2 women. And apparently, I think these murders happened within, maybe I'm making this up, but I feel like they were in the same day. Like, the guy killed, like, they're considering him a serial murderer because he killed these 2 women. I'm going to read this article about him, but he is a very handsome man, very handsome. And he happens to have a lot of crazy tattoos on his face that do not take away from his beauty. They actually enhance it, crazily enough. Face tattoos have really come around, and they're not shocking anymore. They're just, I don't know, like you kind of see them, but they don't give you that, oh my God, they have a tattoo on their face. Like, I remember when Mike Tyson got that tattoo on his face, and it was like, is he fucking crazy? He put a tattoo on his face, and I don't even think it's anything crazy. It's like a swirl or something. But I remember when I first saw him, and I just thought, wow, he's really gone off the deep end, putting a tattoo on your face. Are you crazy? And then other than that, we see gang members with the teardrops, apparently for each person they've killed. That's what I've been told. So when you see that, it's like, oh, Jesus, okay, we know all about what you're into. And then, but more recently, we're seeing them on really pretty girls. You never know. They might just have something written under their eye, and it's cute. And I mean, I'm seeing them way more often, and I don't, they don't bother me. They actually like look nice. I don't know. It's like I kind of don't see them, but I see them, but they don't shock me or anything. So his face tattoos are, and I'll go into this article. They explain more of what they are, but he does have like a continuation of like from the corner of his mouth out, like he's got like, it looks like if he were a skeleton for Halloween. So it's got like the teeth, and it's like going from the corner of his mouth up. I think it's to represent the Joker. That's what it looks like. Kind of his whole left side of his face is tatted, and it all works well together. He didn't do anything like a lot of times people would do, like spotty tattoos where nothing makes sense. Everything blends well, and it looks. I shouldn't say it looks good because there's a swastika, so I'm not saying it looks good, but you know what I mean. Like nothing. It looks like he had a good artist, although apparently he's done all of the facial tattoos while being in prison for the last 5 years because he was arrested in 2019. But yeah, the girls, okay, so here's the bad part. The girls are going crazy. They're making all of these these videos or TikToks about him that are, with songs that are making him appear even more attractive, and the all the visuals they use and the slow mos, and he sits there very smug in the courtroom in civilian clothes. He's not in a jumpsuit. He was able to wear civilian clothes. His head shaved on the side, slicked back, like he looks like he's been out in public. It doesn't even look like he's been in prison because he's so well put together. He smiles without showing his teeth, and apparently he has lost some teeth because he had, his father testified against him, and so did another man that he went to after he murdered the girls. He's claiming that he was part of a trafficking ring, that they're blaming the murders on him and that he didn't do it. But, apparently he did go to somebody right after he killed them and said he did something really bad. And when he went to this one man who testified against him, he said he had missing teeth, and he kind of like alluded that they were in the front. We've never seen him open his mouth in the courtroom, so we don't know what's going on with his teeth. But pictures prior to him being in prison, gorgeous smile, like perfect, beautiful teeth, like really, like he looks like a model. Like he's a really, really good looking guy. Like, dude, what were you thinking? Like, why did you do this? It's crazy. But he came into this world with very young parents. His father was 14, his mother was 13. He was put up for adoption, but apparently had a very normal, healthy childhood. And but they said when he hit a certain age, I think it was about 13, something clicked, and he wasn't the same. He was, the adoptive parents have said that there was issues after that. So and he's very muscular. I think he's like 6'3" or 6'4". Like he's a really well built guy that's probably did a lot of that, more of that in prison. But there's something about his expression for sure that is captivating when you see him in the courtroom, because here's a guy that is being basically they want him to have the death penalty. The jury's come up with that conclusion. The judge has not made the final decision yet. He will, or whoever the judges will make that decision at the end of July. So yeah, everyone's in an uproar, and there's people on TikTok also who are like, this is disgusting. How could anybody be fantasizing about this guy when he's killed 2 women, right? I mean, of course, like that makes sense, but it is like a mind fuck because the guy's so good looking, and he definitely has this confidence about him. In court, he leans back, and he just kind of, as people are talking about him and what he did, he kind of has like a slight smile on his face, and he looks around. He doesn't seem really too bothered by anything. And it's like, wow, this is a dude who's probably going to be put on death row and will eventually be, what's the word? Not murdered by the state. Not, I can't think of the word when they kill them. God, I cannot think of the word. Corporal punishment. This is killing me. Corporal punishment is called, well, they put them to death. You know what I mean. No, that's not corporal punishment. Well, whatever, when they kill him. So it's just kind of like crazy to see a guy who's like literally going to be facing death. He's not going to ever see the light of day again outside of prison. And he's so cocky. Like, what is happening? Where do you come up with this? Why do you not look a little more scared? So anyways, here's an article I was going to read about him. It's not that long. It kind of repeats some of the stuff I said, but just in case I missed anything. Who is Wade Wilson? Jury recommends death penalty for Deadpool killer after being convicted of murder. Wade Wilson was convicted of murdering 2 women in June 2024. It happened in 2019. And his smug demeanor throughout the trial caused the case to go viral. The attention the case has gotten has caused people to wonder about Wilson and the details surrounding the case. It definitely drew me in, for sure, because of his tattoos, the look, just generally that he's a good-looking guy. Who is the Deadpool killer Wade Wilson? Wilson, who shares his name with the Marvel superhero Deadpool, is from Fort Myers, Florida. He has several tattoos on his face, including swastikas and stitches around his mouth that he acquired after his initial arrest in 2019. According to NBC2, Wilson's attorneys asked if he could wear street clothes and conceal his tattoos throughout the jury selection and his trial. Wilson has numerous and varied tattoos on his face, including stitches. Well, they're talking about yeah, I mean, I guess it looks like stitches, but it looks like the Joker. It looks like skeleton teeth, you know? Let's see. That might be objectionable to members of the potential jury pool. The motion requested he would like to appear presentable to the jury, deciding his guilt or innocence or whether he lives or dies. While the judge granted the motion, Wilson appeared to forego the option. Throughout the trial, he was seen with all of his face tattoos, but he wore street clothes as opposed to a jumpsuit provided from the jail. What was he going to put a bag over his face? But I guess he's got more on his body, but I don't know, like a jumpsuit would have covered that, right? Or are they short sleeve? I don't know. Anyway, what did the Deadpool killer Wade Wilson do? Wilson was accused of murdering Kristen Melton and Diane Ruiz in Cape Coral, Florida in October 2019. Melton's body was found inside her home on October 7th, 2019. That same day, Ruiz was reported missing after she vanished while walking to work. 3 days later, on October 10th, 2019, Ruiz's body was discovered in a field behind a Sam's Club. Both women were strangled to death. In November 2019, Wilson, who was already being held in custody for an unrelated charge, was indicted on multiple charges, including 2 counts of first-degree murder. Shortly after receiving the new charges, Wilson contacted Fox News about the allegations. "I did not commit those murders, and I am innocent," the Florida native told the outlet in 2019. Throughout his time in jail, Wilson continued to contact the news station and said that he used to be connected to a high-level human trafficking ring and that he would groom women for them. However, when he tried to leave the ring last year, the group framed him for these murders as punishment, quote unquote. While awaiting trial, Wilson and his cellmate Joseph Katz tried to escape the Lee County Corps facility where they were being held overnight in October 2020. Wow, I didn't know that. Fox 4 News reported that Wilson and Katz managed to break the window in their cell to attempt their escape, but they were caught by authorities. The actions led to 2 new charges of attempted escape and criminal mischief to be added to Wilson's record. While Wade Wilson found guilty. Wilson's trial began on June 10th, 2024, and the jury heard from friends and family members of Ruiz and Melton, as well as forensic psychologists. It only took the jury 13 days to find Wilson guilty. Only? I would have thought it would have taken them like a day, if that, to find Wilson guilty for both counts of first-degree murder, and they recommended that he be sentenced to death. However, the judge presiding over the case will have the final say, and Wilson's sentencing is scheduled for July 23rd. That's my mom's birthday, 2024. So that is what's happening with Wade Wilson. Interesting. Look him up if you want. I don't know. I think it's interesting, and I hate that I find him so attractive. But I do, and I'm mesmerized by him every time he's on TikTok. I hate it, but I am. Okay, moving on. The Tuah girl, do you know about her? She was on TikTok also. So she was asked some question. I don't remember what the question was. She's a very pretty girl from, I want to say, Tennessee, blonde hair, typical, like, good-looking teenage blonde girl, Taylor Swift type, cowboy hat on, short denim shorts, cowboy boots, slim, fit, tan, beautiful smile. And she made some joke about going Tuah, but she means like spitting on, a dick, basically, for oral sex. And that, she didn't say any of that. She just said Tuah. That was like her words for that sound, like that. So anyways, it went viral. That whole thing went viral, and it became a meme. And now she's being interviewed, and she's going to move to Los Angeles to jump on this opportunity of fame for literally saying, and I believe it was 6 words that she said. So I'm blown. Like I keep saying to my kids, I'm like, what why is she becoming famous? Like, okay, I get it, like in the moment for like a week maybe, but she's moving to Los Angeles. She has a manager now and a lawyer, like because people are selling merch and it's basically she wants it trademarked. It's like, girl, this thing's going to go away. Like no one's going to be talking about this in August. So it's it's kind of like I don't know who's getting in her head, but I saw her being interviewed by some legit news station, like she was like in the studio, and they were asking what her plans were, and she says, oh, I'm gonna just see where this all takes me. See where it takes you? What, you said 6 words? Like what? You're supposed to have a career change, a life change because of these. Like no one's gonna even be talking about this even next week. Nobody cares. So that is so surprising to me that she's trying to really capitalize on this little moment that she had. Everything comes and goes. We all have the attention span of like a fly. So no one's going to care. Again, no one will care in like, another week. Okay, so I just wanted to like talk about that for a second. Okay, shows I've seen. This was recommended on Netflix. I saw this on TikTok. A woman had recommended it. It's called Tell Them You Love Me. So this is about a woman who is working with special needs kids. She has a real love for it. It was all based on like her mother's work growing up. She watched her mother working with special needs kids. And it was kind of around the time when devices were available to people who had no ability to speak. So they can use, devices to type into and say the words that they would really want to say, but they couldn't because they were nonverbal. So there was, I don't know if she was teaching a class or something, but there was a man who was in her class who said, my gosh, I have a brother who's nonverbal, like we have to change his diaper. He's been this way his whole life. I think he had, what did they diagnose him with? I think it was cerebral palsy was one of them, I'm pretty sure. And then I don't remember the other one. It's not, he doesn't have Down syndrome, but anyways, he can't speak. And I mean, he's visibly incapable of like probably taking care of himself. I mean, he can walk, but his mom has to help him with everything. Like I said, he wears diapers. So anyways, but he's like an adult. Like I think he was in his early 20s. So she is married, she has kids, and she forms this, well, she ends up taking him on, like to help him learn how to use the machine. And it's like a breakthrough. Like the guy is finally able to express how he feels about life and all this stuff. And they end up developing this very deep connection. And she feels that she's falling in love with him. She does not see the disability at all. That isn't like, it's the person underneath, and she's, saying what he's been writing to her, and she's, saying that she's in love with him too, and he has these feelings for her, and he asks to like see her breasts, and he like wants to see everything, so she took everything off. So anyways, apparently they do have sex, and they find out, the mother and the older brother find out, the older brother's they're both very protective of him. They find like rug burns on his back because she'd laid him on the ground to like do this. Anyways, she is interviewed in this. I don't want to give the ending away, but she doesn't feel that she's committed a crime at all. I wasn't convinced she'd committed a crime at all until the end. And then I was like, oh my God, maybe she did. Maybe this wasn't what I thought it was. It's really interesting. It's like it's not like episodic or anything. It's just one documentary, and I think it's like an hour and 30 minutes or something. I think it's worth watching. Again, it's called Tell Them You Love Me. And yeah, she's interviewed through the whole thing, and she's so intelligent and everything. And you really want to believe her, but at the end, I don't know, and I don't want to give it away as to why, but it is, yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, she's out of jail now, but Yeah, that was a good one. Okay, the other one, oh, and let me see. Should I do another guy update or should I move on to? I'll just talk about Love Island really fast. I'm watching Love Island. I'm catching up on episodes. I did this last summer too. It's funny. I don't know why I always end up catching it when there's about 20 episodes out. I kind of ignore it up until that point, and now I'm addicted. And so I'm on episode 13. I think there's 23 episodes out at the moment. So I'm just watching it all day long. It's either on it's on my TV or it's on my phone. If I'm driving in my car or at the gym or whatever, it's on my phone. I'm like trying to get through the episodes. I don't know why it's so addicting. I just live vicariously through these beautiful people who are always like super sexual. They're always wearing, the guys are shirtless most of the time. Basically the premise of the show is it's a game show, I guess. I mean, I guess they win something at the end. I don't even know. But it's like a Big Brother. They spend the summer in this, they're in Fiji. They're in this beautiful location. They have their own pool. Everything's very neon, lit up with neon lights. And they all sleep in the same room at night, but they couple up. So they have to be couples. You have to be with a couple, or you have to be with a partner, basically. So I think there's 5 guys and 5 girls. And then they do shit like they do contests and kissing contests, like blindfolded. And like, so the girls will eventually kiss every single guy, even though they're coupled up with one guy and they're having feelings for them. And then there's this, they'll do this thing where all the guys get kissed by all the girls. So then they rate all the kisses and they're like, then they find out later who had the best kisses and who they were kissing. And it's like, oh, damn, I didn't know I was kissing so-and-so's girl. And man, that was a good kiss. It's like really fun to watch. And I don't know, I just totally live vicariously through this show because yeah, especially if I'm not doing much kissing, I like watching it. So, and then they have to sleep with them at night, and it doesn't appear that there's any sex on the show. It all looks very PG because they are all sleeping in one big giant room, and when they show them sleeping at night, they have it's like the night camera vision, and you can see some people like kissing and stuff, but it doesn't look like it's ever turning into sex. If it is, they are not showing it on TV. What they do show, which I kind of love, it's on Peacock, is they don't edit out any bad words. Like they say fuck a lot, which is fun because I mean, like how long have we waited for this to have, the word fuck on regular TV? It's not, this isn't HBO, Showtime, or Cinemax. Isn't that the name of it? I can't even remember. I don't have any of those, but yeah, it's Peacock, and so they allow the F word, and it's very refreshing. I know they do it on the challenge too. I watched all the challenge shows with TJ Lavin and all of my MTV favorite, all the stars on MTV, and he even said the F word recently, like during a challenge. It was awesome. I even commented on his Instagram, like I loved hearing TJ say fuck. It was like, how fun to hear the host say fuck about something. I mean, he was being funny about it, but it's refreshing. It's kind of nice. So what else can I say about Love Island? I don't know if they win something at the end. Basically, you have to be the best couple and you have to make it all the way through. But they tantalize the couples by bringing in new people and more hotter people. And then they go on dates. And then maybe there's a couple that's doing really well, but America votes for maybe the guy to go on a date with a new girl that comes in. And then that girl that's like with that guy is like devastated because she can't be there and she's worried. And oh my God, is he going to kiss the girl on the date? Yeah, it's fun. I don't know. I love it. I know there's a lot of celebrities watching it too. So I don't feel like I'm watching like the worst show ever and no one else is watching it. I've seen enough online to know that this is actually very popular and it's fun. Totally. It's like eating chocolate cake. It's just mindless fun. And I thank the people for being on the show, for showing me all the hot bodies. And that's the other thing. I'm very surprised at someone's going to tell me I'm fat shaming, but some of the girls they're not like in, I don't want to say they're not in the best shape. They're not like, not everybody looks like a gymnast. Like some of them just look more, because sometimes they get the stick thin girls that are, they're just in a phenomenal shape, right? And then they have like some thicker girls, and they are wearing basically like their butts are completely out. Like they do a lot of challenges where they're wearing thongs, and it's like full ass out, and they're jiggling. I mean, their butts are jiggling and stuff, and I'm like, damn, well, they're brave for one thing, but maybe it's, it's good. They show all different body types, and the guys are obviously not into, because I don't think they're perfect bodies. I know that's going to come across the wrong way. And if my daughters were listening, they'd be like so mad at me. But they're not. Some of these girls are not in the tip top condition. So maybe it's good. Like it's a good range of not having like these perfect body types. I don't know. I'm just so used to like these shows always having like the most cut girls. Like they're thin and they have muscle tone, they're tan, their boobs are perfect, but so some of these girls have been, yeah, you get the idea. It's just different than what I've normally seen. I think Survivor's gotten more in that direction, although Survivor's gotten way too like normal type people. I'm sorry. I like to look at nice bodies. Like I do. Like when I see Survivor and I don't see a bunch of nice bodies, it's not as fun for me. Like where did all the nice bodies go? Like bring back people that look amazing. I don't know. It's more fun. So, but these people are having a good time, and I don't know, we'll just see what happens. But Big Brother's going to start soon, and I don't know what I'm going to do, because this show is on every single day except Wednesdays, and Big Brother is basically like 3 or 4 days a week. So I'm going to have a lot of, well, once I get caught up, I'll be in good shape. I'll be able to handle all of the TV viewing. Okay, I will give an update on, let's see, the coach. So I wrote, well, no, he wrote to me. I think I might have mentioned that he reached out to me, and we had like a little short conversation. He said he thought about me that day. So then I wrote to him, like, I don't know, 10 days ago, 12 days ago, and just said, what's up, stranger? How you doing? And the other conversation we'd had, kind of like, he said he thought about me. We didn't make plans or anything. We just talked about basketball, and then it kind of faded. It was just texting. So when I wrote to him, what's up, stranger? How have you been? He called me like 15 minutes later, and we talked on the phone for probably, I don't know, 15 minutes. And, he was going to be going on a trip, which he's currently on and should be back any day now. He could even be back today. I'm not sure, but I think he was going to be gone for 10 days. And anyways, we talked about not seeing each other, but hanging out when he gets back. And it was nice to talk to him. We never had any more HIV discussion. I think I will, like, if we hang out in person, I will definitely probably have a moment where I'll just hold his hands and face him and go, how are you? Are you good with me? Like, I want to know how you feel. Like, I don't want to make you uncomfortable. If you have any questions, like, let me know. But I think we will hang out. I really do have that feeling. I miss him. Like, I miss hanging out with him. He was always fun to hang out with, and he is such a good cuddler. I miss cuddling with him. I would always spend the night at his place, and he would hug me all night long, like from the back. He'd hug me around my upper body, and he was always kissing the side of my face, and he would always like readjust me and hug me even tighter. And when you're a single lady, and everything you do is with no strings attached, it's sometimes really nice to have a man who wants to snuggle with you, which just doesn't happen that often. And because that is intimate, and most guys can't handle intimacy. So he can handle it totally. He's super intimate in that way, but not in the way where we're gazing into each other's eyes and like, kissing, or it's not like that. He's just, he can get comfortable with me. And we are still very much like, when I leave his place in the morning, in the past, it was just always like, yeah, I mean, I'll see you. Like, it was never like, when am I going to see you again? Or when will we talk? Or it never ever was like that. It was just always very casual, and it worked for both of us. It like felt fine. I was never ever stressed about like how often we saw each other. It always felt fine. So that's the latest. I think I will probably end up seeing him soon, and I'll keep you guys updated. I really don't think. I mean, he knows about my diagnosis. He knows about my social media, but I highly doubt that he ever looked up anything. Plus, everything's under my middle name, so I don't think he would even try. I think I told him my last name during that, when I told him everything about me. I did tell him. I said, by the way, my last name's Vaughn. If you ever wondered, I'm Jennifer Vaughn. And that was as far as that went. I don't know that he even would remember my last name because it was just that one time that I told him. So yeah, I doubt that he's, I know that he's not listening to my podcast. I mean, I told him I had one, but he didn't ask about it any more than that. I think he was just in too much shock about the diagnosis. Um, so anyway, but as we know, there's nothing to worry about. Okay, let's talk about DC. I put DDC. It's DCC, Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders. So there's a documentary. Oops. Finn, I just heard your little yawn over there. There's a documentary on Netflix about the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders. And I think, yeah, well, I know there used to be a show about them. I don't remember the name of it, but it was based on like this whole premise of like how you become a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. What is the process? What's it like to be one? And all of the things that come with it. So I find it fascinating. I'm so completely obsessed. These women are gorgeous. I love, love, love looking at these women, for one thing. I'm not gay. It's like the same thing when I did dancing when I was stripping. I was more into watching the girls dance because they were so beautiful and their bodies were so beautiful and they knew how to move their bodies in such a like mesmerizing way. I was always trying to like kind of get ideas by watching the women, but I loved watching them just because they were gorgeous. Women's bodies are beautiful. I'm always like totally into dancing that's got like sharp moves with the music that goes with the music. And then there's times where they like do moves that are like under a beat. I don't know how to explain it. And it's like, oh, they fit that in before the next beat and that, oh, it looks so good. Like it's so satisfying. It's so satisfying. So they're doing their main song is Thunderstruck. This is like to AC/DC's Thunderstruck. And you know how that starts out. And they're all coming out and they come out kind of almost like a little skip hop while their little pom-poms are doing their thing. And then they do this move where it goes over their heads. And then they go into these formations of like a triangle. I'm getting ahead of myself, but the dance it goes on for the whole song. Like they have a whole song, they have a whole routine to Thunderstruck from beginning to end. And it's so impressive. Like you can catch it on TikTok, you can find it on YouTube if you want. But what's interesting is that the girls they have to go through a hiring process or they have to not apply. They have to, what is the word? And then I get like my mind goes blank when I have to think of a word when I'm recording, because then I feel like, oh my God, I don't want any dead air. They're trying out. There you go. They're trying out. Okay, so they have 36 girls. That's the number. It's always 36. They have, I think you can only do it, maybe you can do it as many years as you want. I think there was one girl who said she did it 7 years. So basically you have to try out again every year. Even if you were doing it the year before, you're considered a vet if you've done it for a year. If you're new coming in, you're a rookie. And so they ended so far with, I think, 12 rookies. What would that be? 24 vets, something like that. Maybe it was 10 rookies, 26 vets. I can't remember, but they came up with their final number after making cuts. The cuts are brutal because these girls are working their asses off through this boot camp. And it's like from what we see, the girls are doing everything perfectly, beyond perfectly. So it's like heartbreaking when their dreams are shattered and while they're telling them that they've been cut, the girls are begging, just one more day, please, just one more day. I know I can do it. I know I can show you whatever you need to see. And I promise I will come through. And the women just sit there. There's two women that everybody hates online, these two managers, and I don't remember their names, but they're very cutthroat and they don't have a whole lot of like empathy for these girls. And they're just like, sorry, that's just the way it is. You can come back next year if you want, work on this, work on that, but this is the end of the road, bye. I mean, they're not that cold, but they're not very warm and friendly. And I get it. It's a business. What can they sit there and cry with the girls every single time? Like they do this all the time. They have to cut people and they probably want, I'm assuming, because they're very much into like their appearance. Like they had like a day where they went to the beauty salon and they went each girl had like stylists checking them out, and they talked about hair color, haircut, makeup, like what do we need to do to make you pop. And so sometimes the girls have drastic changes, like their hair goes from like totally blonde that they've had for like years and years and years to like a new brown that they were never thought they'd have, and so they go through this whole thing. This is all before they've even been picked, so they have to go through this metamorphosis, some of them, of changing their looks to be super presentable for what they want a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader to look like. And I feel like they want it to be also, it's mostly white women. It's predominantly white. I think there's 3 girls on the team that are African American. Can I just say black? 3 girls that are black. I don't remember if there was any girls that were Hispanic. There was Hispanic. There was one girl who was, there's definitely no Asian girls. I didn't see anybody Asian. There is one girl that was a redhead, but she got cut. But there might have been, yeah, anyway, she was like a natural redhead. Anyways, I feel like they kind of have like what, I don't know, like they sort of want the overall look to be of the whole team, and that's probably factored into it beyond their dancing ability. But these girls can dance. They're not just cheerleaders. They know how to dance. Like they know how to move their bodies. And here's the thing. So they make $500 a game. 500. That's it. $500 a game. They are not allowed to date any NFL player on the Dallas Cowboys, nor are they allowed to date any NFL player within the organization at all. So that's a no-no. They must maintain the same weight that they were hired with. So if they were 121 pounds when they were brought onto the team, in 5 years, if they're still going through the process and they're still getting, they're being accepted every year with the tryouts, they must maintain that 121 pounds. Or I'm sure they'd be happy if they were even smaller, because they seem to really push. It's a big time thing with the weight. And of course, what is that going to do? It's going to trigger a bunch of these girls to have eating disorders and, depression and anxiety and shit like that. One girl took a year off because of her eating disorder. Her mom was a prior Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, and she's now on the team. I feel like she's not liked a lot. I don't know her name. I can't remember. She's blonde. When she smiles, she's kind of got lines in the sides of her face, to me, indicating that she does not have enough weight on her. She looks too thin. Her face, it shows in her face when she smiles. And they had this whole scene where they're celebrating her birthday with just her mom, and like they did all these decorations and had like a cake, and it kind of broke my heart. Like there was nobody there. It was like, I don't know why they did that. If that was just to make us have sympathy for her or something. She seems really sweet, and I do follow her on TikTok now, but again, I can't remember her name. There are a few girls on the team I feel that had moms. There's definitely girls on the team whose moms were Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders in the past, and they are following in their mom's footsteps. So that's fun. And so yeah, they must maintain the same weight throughout, or that's a reason to get rid of them. So $500 game is nothing. So how many games are there a year? I don't even know. 20? Something like that. So these girls all have to work full time on top of it. One girl's a nurse. One girl works with like a special needs girl. I don't know. They didn't get into a lot of their careers, but they definitely have to make money some other way, because $500 a game is nothing, and they make no money while they're practicing. There's tons of practicing. So that is not paid for at all. That's just part of, being a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. So somebody did do a TikTok about this, and they said, everyone's complaining about the fact they're not making enough money and all this, but like truly, this is a business, and the owner of the cheerleaders is a woman as well. There's 3 women, older women, I'd say in their 60s, involved in the cheerleaders. There's the 2 women that are kind of like the managers. They're overseeing like the daily stuff. And then there's one woman that comes in who seems to be like the owner of, she's not the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, but could she be the owner of the cheerleaders? Possibly. I think that's what it is. So somebody was just saying, it's a business. They know what they're signing up for. There is like it's like an honor to be a part of it. So yes, they're aware going into this that they're not going to be paid much. They also can't take like sponsorships or something like that. Like they're not allowed to make additional money with their title while they're cheerleaders. It's really interesting. They keep them very tied down to the organization with like no pay, but you are a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. So everyone's doing TikTok renditions of Thunderstruck to different parts of that particular routine that they have the girls doing. And I mean, some people are nailing it and it's so fun to watch. They're just doing it in their living rooms. But it's so fun. I love it. And that song I can listen to a million times a day. I'll never get tired of Thunderstruck. I love AC/DC, Back in Black, and You Shook Me All Night Long too. Like those songs forever I will always love those songs. So it's fun to go through TikTok, and everything I go up on is like I hear Thunderstruck like over and over, and it's people in their living rooms dancing and people outside or whatever, and it's just really fun to watch. Or people who are terrible dancers and filming themselves anyways, just because it's funny. So I highly recommend that as well. I still haven't finished it. I think I have like an episode and a half left, and I need to get to it, but I got so stuck on Love Island that I didn't finish. It didn't finish it yet, but I will soon. Okay, last boy update, and then I'm going to wrap this up is, and thank you to Allie and Misty Diane and oh God, I wish I could remember everybody's names. I've had a bunch of people writing to me saying, please do a podcast. Like I need to listen to you in my car. Or I miss listening to you when I go to the gym, or I'm like, cleaning my house or whatever. And it truly is those little pushes that get me back in my room to do it. Cause I don't know what it is. I will procrastinate and not do this. And then once I do it, I'm like, why didn't I just do it? But anyways, yeah, finally doing it. Okay, so last update is on Spaghetti Man. I met Spaghetti Man. This is a name that, so on my close friends story on Instagram, I have like, I don't know, 100 people on there. I've cut it back because, yeah, all the social media drama recently, which again, I'm not going to get into at the moment, but I had to cut some people out of my close friends story and actually off my Instagram altogether. But so my close friends are aware of Spaghetti Man, and somebody gave him that term because it just fits. Because when I first met him, he was living in Felton, which is like a nice area, but he was living up in the back, like in the woods behind someone's house in a makeshift kind of tent. It was all made with like tarps and shit. And he literally, well, first of all, I'll never forget. It took him forever to like finally have me come up. I only went to go see him because he was cute. I mean, he was cute. He was like, and he had muscles and he had tattoos, but I knew he was a little bit smaller than me, but not a whole lot. And he was closer to my age. He's, I think back then he was 42. He's 44 now. So anyway, kind of looks like a biker kind of dude with his hair was sort of slicked back, kind of like exactly like Wade Wilson, actually. Exactly. Same haircut. Damn, now I just realized I have a type. I guess I kind of do have a type. Tattoos, slick back hair, bad boys. Yeah. So he, before we went into his truck for our lovely rendezvous, he was making dinner. He said he had to eat first. He was starving. So he made spaghetti on, I think it was a Bunsen burner, not a Bunsen burner. Oh my God, that's what you use in science. On it was a camping type stovetop. It was, he was in a tent. We were in a, literally not, we weren't in a tent, like triangle tent, but it was like, we were covered with tarps. It was dry. I mean, it was summertime, and he offered me some, and I remember he had sausage in it too. And it was really good, and I was hungry and I ate it. Like, it was funny, but this was the guy that I got spooked by. I don't know, because he started saying stuff when we were fooling around, and he called me not precious, but it sounded like the guy from Silence of the Lambs who had the girl down below who would call his dog precious. But there was something about him that I didn't know him that well. I mean, clearly I wasn't thinking clearly enough to go hang out with a guy that I didn't know that well up in the woods. But I felt safe enough. I don't know. I was like, really, is this guy going to kill me? I don't think so. Um, anyway, he started kind of like saying stuff in the midst of like our like time together, our intimate time together, I will say, where he's saying like, God, how did he say it? It was like we'd been dating for a long time. And he said something like, and he didn't say I love you or anything. God, I can't remember. It was something very specific. And when I put it on my close friend's story, somebody remembered exactly what he said. It was like, I don't ever want to let you go, or I can't remember. Something like he didn't call me, there are the guys that use the porn terms where they say, you're being a good girl, like gross. Don't say that to me. But there are guys that say that. Oh, good girl. Ugh, like, come on. Like, don't fucking say that. Then you know for sure that a guy's watched too much porn if he says stuff like that. But he said something close to that. I can't remember. If I remember, I'll do it on my next podcast. But it kind of spooked me. And then there was a moment where he had to go pee or something. I don't know, whatever. He got out of his car. It was a truck, and it's a truck that he slept in. It was actually super comfortable. He had it like it was very padded and comfortable. There was like rope lighting in there. It was nice. I mean, it really was. It wasn't bad for a homeless guy. But anyways, when he got out of the truck, I split. I got all my clothes on really fast, and I like ran down to my car, and I left because I just all of a sudden thought the way he was talking to me scared me a little bit. So I wasn't interested after that. I just like, fuck no, I don't know. That was weird. And then we connected again. And then I finally saw him again. It's been like 4 months. And I don't know why I was in a really like, I need to get my hands on a guy kind of mood. And so I met him that night. The sun was going down. We met by the beach. I kind of attacked him in my car. He looked really cute. I knew that I knew him already. We communicated enough back and forth at that point when we met that night by the beach, and I felt comfortable. And he was kind of like laughing about it. He's like, dude, you like totally left me that time. Like I wasn't going to do anything. I wasn't going to hurt you or anything. Like, and I think I needed that time in between to know like he's safe. But that night it was just too much. And then we had fun that night, that like 4 months ago. But I've just been, I don't know, I've just kind of avoided him. No, I don't know if I've avoided him, but I guess he was kind of negative that night, even though it was fun, because his life is really not great at the moment. I mean, if you're homeless, it's not great. So he's trying to work. He's trying, he had an accident basically, and his life has kind of not been the same. There's an ex-girlfriend who's been problematic and stuff. So he just has not been able to get on his feet. But whatever. I don't care about that so much. I don't really want to hear about it because he's not going to be my boyfriend. So I don't really want to hear all the woe is me stuff. It's sort of an ick. So I think that's why I've sort of avoided him, because he was just, I think it's out of nervousness. He talks about like that stuff and he doesn't really know how to like just have like a normal conversation, but his life isn't normal. So I get it. But the one thing about him is that he's always really, really clean. Like his haircut's always nice. He's always completely clean shaven. He does not smell. He's even groomed down there. Not like he's always clean. His car was always clean. Everything was clean. And so I told him that last night because we were going to meet today. But his phone, he like wrote to me last night because I left him this voice memo, and I said, the one thing that I have to tell you is like, I noticed that you're always really clean. Like your hair's done nice. You're shaven every time I see you. You never smell in any way. Like you're clean cut. And I said, and I just don't really even know how you do that when you don't really even know where your next meal's coming from, And I said, so I just want you to know, like, that's not lost on me that you are clean when I see you. And I'm sort of baffled by it, to tell you the truth. And he said, I really appreciate that. Means a lot to me because it's like, it is a lot of work to try to get myself very, very presentable. He said, it's not how he wrote it, but it was just kind of made me, it was sweet. It was like, just a, like a real vulnerable thing for him to share, I guess, that it isn't that easy to be what you would be if you had your own place, right? I mean, who knows? He's probably having to go into a gas station and like clean everything. Like, who knows how he's getting himself clean. But he is. And so I had offered to him last night, hey, or even no, it was this morning. I said, hey, my son's going to be working till a certain time. Do you want to just come here and shower and shave first? Like that, I kind of thought it might be sort of fun, to have him here and using my place to get himself cleaned up. And he didn't call me until 7:30 tonight. I had left those messages, one at 9 o'clock this morning, saying, hey, what time do you want to meet and where? Never responded to that. I left him one at 11 that said this whole thing about you can come here if you want. Never heard from him. At 2 o'clock, I texted him again and said, I'm slowly starting to lose interest in this whole idea of hanging out, and with a shrug. And then he called me 5 hours later at 7 and he said, guys don't usually make phone calls, but he can make a phone call. And we talked for like 20 minutes. He was really nice. He apologized. He said, I don't blame you. I told him I made other plans. I just didn't at that point want to hang out. And I will see him, but I just didn't want to tonight. So what did he say? He said that his phone had been charging all day in his storage unit, and it was only at 16%. It's a phone he's had for 4 years. It's totally broken. He can't even take a picture with it. It's shattered. And he said, he went into the whole thing about, T-Mobile and Verizon and problems with his account. And he lost his phone number he'd had for 22 years. And, he's going into all of the, I believe what he tells me. I mean, why would he make all this stuff up? But he basically had no charge. He said, I have a bunch of messages. He said, all of mine came to him all at once. So what looked like, from my end, I'd sent them at completely different times of the day, but he got them all at one time, because that's just what happened, because his phone was dead. And he said he has a bunch of messages from people he needs to get back to people. And he says he has a lot of people not very happy with him at the moment because he wasn't reachable. And I said, well, I'm not mad at you. I said, but let's just talk or hang out another time. He asked what my son's work schedule was like, if he could, come over and hang out. But I said, I don't really ask Owen that ahead of time, because then it looks suspicious that I'm wanting to know for maybe other reasons. I don't want Owen really feeling like I'm having anybody here when he's not here. So I just said, I don't know, but I'll get back to you. And then I'm seeing Blink 182 and Pierce the Veil on Tuesday night in San Francisco with my daughters. So that's coming up. And then tomorrow I have a mammogram. And I have to go because Owen's calling me twice now. He just got off work and he's going to worry if I don't answer the phone. And wow, this went over an hour. I didn't expect it. He's calling me again. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. I love you all. Thank you for listening, and I will be back soon. Bye-bye.